Whoa! Sab Shed! Sab's Shed.
Hello, Turk lovers and all lovers in between. I'm here in my makeshift photographic studio. I'm just in the house. And well, here I am. It's time to make another virtual model of the Turk head. You may have seen that I've made one already with turban, moustache and eyebrows, but that will not do. No. It turns out it's very difficult to edit things like hair off, so I'm going to have to do it all again without turban and hair. But I thought I'd just show you the setup here. I borrowed a camera, which is better than this one, and if I turn it on, let's see, is it going to turn on for me? Come on, turn on. Turning on, there we are. So you can see our Turk friend there. I've more or less set it up. I've got a tripod here on a bit of wood stuck to the top of a tripod, and it revolves. See, it revolves like that, and a sheet at the back as a backdrop. I found out that it's easier to cut things off. Here, I'll talk to you. It's easier to edit things and cut around things if you've got a white background in this particular software that I use to generate the virtual model. So that's what I've done. So all I'm going to do next is cut off the Turk's moustache and eyebrows, poor thing, and I'll have to put them on again later if I use this particular head. Anyway, I'll do that and I'll bring you back. Okay, toodaloo, bye. Last look. Poor old Turk.
Thanks, Sabbaton. Okay, here we are in the belly of the beast. It is the computer. Tron time. Yes, I'm speaking to you from the inside of my machine. I'm going to start editing the hairless Turk photos that I took on the setup I showed you a little while ago. So here I am in an image editing software called GIMP or GIMP 2. And it's completely free. It's I believe it's an open source software, so it's kind of like Photoshop, but it's free and pretty good. So you can do it too. It's quite simple. So find it and download it and have some fun. Anyway, this is what we're going to do. First of all, I'm going to file. I'll just explain as I go. I'm going to open. See if I can find where I am now. Looks like. I don't know where I am actually, so let's go to my desktop and see. We're looking for hairless Turk 50. There it is. I've done 20 already, so let's go for 21 image. Right, there's image. Double click on that, and this is the fella. That's the back of the head. All I'm going to do is very quick. Is I'm just going to alter the contrast, because when I come to use the 3D modeling software, it likes as much texture and contrast as possible. So I've had an experiment earlier, and all I'm going to go in GIMP, I'm going to go to colors and go brightness contrast, and I found that I'm here in the contrast. Here I am up here. Hello. Contrast. What's all I'm going to do is make that 10, 20, and then over here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to increase the contrast by 25. See that? Then I'm going to click OK. Now in GIMP you can't just save it as something, you've got to export as. So I'm going to export this to a JPEG. So what I want to do is go to my edited hairless 50 shots, which is here. I'm not going to change the name of it because I've kept with the same things. And I'm just going to say export in there. Quality 90. Yeah, export. Okay. Let's do another one. What do I do? Do I come out of this? Oh, I think so. There you go. Right. Come on. Let's do another one. So now we'll do one more. Open hairless Turk original. So now I need 22. I'm going to do exactly, see it, that's my next shot that's turned a little bit to the right. I'm going to go colors and contrast brightness, same again, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, click OK, and I'm going to export as, and I'm going to go to my desktop again. I want to go to edited. It's 22. There you are. So next one, export and export. And there it is. So that's, I don't need to go through the lot. I've got another 30 odd of these to do. And when I've done that, I will show you the next stage, which is virtual modeling. Bye for now. Right, here we are again. Just thought I would show you an interim stage. I finished all the contrast edits on all the shots I've done. So I'm just going to quickly scroll through these shots before I put them in the virtual software. So here they are. There's the first one. There's our poor old shaved Turk with no turban on. Anyway, there he goes. We're allowed 50 in the virtual modeling software, which of course is free because I'm a skinflint. Another free version, which is good enough for our purposes. You're allowed to use up to 50 shots. So here they are: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Keep on going. Just to give you an idea, this is what I've been up to. So, and then we do change the angle so we can see a bit of the top of the head. I'm running out of shots now, so I have to be a little bit more less detailed. And then finally, I've got some very top ones, because if you miss an area out, the software will leave a hole in your model. So there we go. And we're back to the beginning. So there's 50 shots there. Now we'll go over to the virtual software model. Oh, isn't this fun? Hello again, Turk lovers, and all lovers in between. This is Tron Sabbaton here, speaking to you from inside of the machine. Here we are on another piece of software. This is called 3DF Zephyr Free Edition. These are all free bits of software that I'm using currently. And we are now going to start assembling our photos that I took of the shaved Turk into this bit of software to make a 3D model. This is how you do it. So if you want to do it, download this free edition of 3DF Zephyr and have fun yourself. So I've taken those 50 photographs of the Turk's head and I adjusted the contrast in GIMP. Now I'm going to see if I can import them. So what we need to do is find workflow, which is up here, drop down workflow, and we're going to go to new project. Now I'm following some notes here that I've made. What we're going to do is look down here. It says here, make sure you've got this checked. Check online for pre-computed camera calibration. So that will do some magic to do with the particular camera that you've got if it picks it up. So have that highlight. What else? So we've done that. Now we want mask images. We want that there. Click on that. What else have I got to do? Oh yes, and then we've got to create masks around the images we've got, and we're going to use that. We're going to use this particular bit of sub software that's contained within Zephyr called Masquerade. And what we have to do is, I believe, go to next there, and we're going to plus to add photos. Now we actually, it's come up straight away into desktop edited hairless Turk 50. I'm pretty sure that's it. I'm just going to double check. Edited, and then there's hairless originals. Yeah, so that's the one. This is the one. So we're going to click on all of these. I should have 50 here. So I'm just going to shift and click to select all of them. There they are, and I'm going to open the lot, and they should appear. Yep, that's them there. What do I do next? What I should be able to do is go to the top one and right click. doesn't seem to do it. Add photos. Oh, bum. I'll have to stop. Knickers. Let's just go to next a minute. Oh. Not found. Launch masquerades. I think this is what to do. Running Master for Edition. Mask can only be saved. Yep, so that's fine. Okay. Tips to start using automatic silhouette tool. Use the brush tools below. See, I'm learning as I'm talking to you. Oh, I don't know what that says. I'm just saying, got it. Right, so here we are in Masquerade. So we've got there in the end. What we need to do is cut out the head from this whole white background thing. And how do we do that? Let's see, you need to click the brush icon, if I can find it. One of these, there's a red brush and a blue brush. Now, the red, if we do the red, and if we can just zoom in a bit maybe, there we are, that's what we want to do. If I can go, so I've clicked on red and I'm going to click, left click and hold. You can see it's drawing. I'm going to go around the inside of the Turk's head. You don't have to be so precise as I'm being right now, but in fact I'll go maybe a little bit faster. Do a rough line inside all the bits that you want. Okay, there we go. All the way up and then release. And it's done it. Okay, so that's that. Now you can do the blue, which is here, and this one you're gonna, what you need to do is do the same thing, click and hold, but now we're dragging outside of the object that we want to keep. So we're telling it, we're telling it that we don't want this bit here. This is what, I'm being careful to stay on the white bit. Okay, there we go up there. This is why I wanted one colour, either white or black. It's my background and the base. I'm going all the way around there. And then I'm going to hit let go there. And it's computing the silhouette. And then we will see what it thinks. And when it does that, I'll just read my notes. So I've done all that. Click compute, it's doing that. Okay, right. So there we are. So you can see it's pretty clever. It's highlighted most of the Turk's head in this red colour to say that's what we've got, and most of it's done it absolutely brilliantly. But there is an area up here. Can you see that there? There's a little bit that's bled out. Now we can right click a little bit. As I'm right clicking, I'm erasing. So, and it's recomputing. So I've just erased that because I think my red line was bleeding into the white. So we'll just redo that. And we can play around with this. So it's right click to erase something. And you see it's fixed it. So let's just go around the image. I'm only going to do this for the first one, and then I've got another 49 to play with. So you don't want to see all that. But you can see there's a little bit there as well. Tiny bit there. I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad, is it? So let's see. Do we need to mess around with that? I've lost it now. He's lost it. No, I think it's all right. It's pretty good. So I'm going to accept that. How I do that, I think, is by going to the save. I'm going to save it. And you can see I press save. It's on the disk thing. It's put a little letter M for Masquerade next to the original, which means that it's saved. And once you've done that, you can then go to the next one. I think you double click on it. Yeah, it's opening my next one. And there it is. Now you can do something whereby you can save the mask if you want. You can go back to that one there. Which is my number 2. And you can say, I want to keep this mask and go on the other, but I found that it's quicker actually to make a new one. So there we are. That's essentially it. I'm going to carry on now and do the rest of these images. I'll bring you back at the end. And I'm back in the room here. I've done about 10 more of these shots, and well, I knew I'd done this, but I didn't tell you before. I made a bit of a stupid schoolboy error when I was taking the photos. Look, I've cut the top of the Turk's head off here and a little bit of the neck, which means I can't easily define the mask on some of these shots that I've made this stupid error, which is stupid of me, but there we are. How many more times can I say stupid? Stupid. But hopefully we've got some other shots later along down the list which change the angle, if you remember. So hopefully the software will be super duper and clever enough to join everything up. So I'm not going to worry too much about it, but I'm just going to show you. I'm on red, so that means the interior. So I'm going to go here. I did try a couple where I changed the diameter of the brush here, the red and blue brushes. You can make them smaller and larger, you know, for doing more finer work. But it took so long and the results weren't that great. So this bit is fine, and this white background really helps on the ones where I bothered to do a good job, or a frame properly. So just down the bottom here, I'm just going to go off the page and come back on the page over here. See, I'm not being particularly precise about this, and I found you don't really have to. So I'm not going to bother to do that. I'm just going to do that there and release, see what happens. It may be good enough to pick those things off, to pick the head up, but of course I've missed the top bit off here. But if there is a hole in the, see, it's done it okay actually, but we're just missing the bottom here and the top here. But if after the final processing has happened, there are a few holes, there are facilities to fix those holes. So we'll carry on regardless. Anyway, see you at the end of the list. I'm back again. This is the last image I've got of the Turk's top of the head. So we're going to see what happens next. So I'm going to do my last one. I've got the red going on here. So this is taking me about an hour or so. You just have to take your time with it. You don't have to be super precise with it. And now the blue one. This is quite simple. If you make a mistake, you've got an eraser, so that's okay. So I'm going underneath. Yeah, push his nose off. And then we'll see if it works, you see. But it's quite a long process, this. It's called photogrammetry. And it's a way of turning these 2D images into a 3-dimensional virtual model. I researched it a little while ago, and I made, you know, I have done it with the Turk head with the turban on and the moustache and everything. And that was me playing around to see if it was possible. So hopefully this will do the same. So just save that. We can see all of these guys here now. I've got a little M, all these 50 photographs, which means I've made this sort of mask. So what do I do next? I don't really know. So let me see if I can move that to there. Let's see what happens if I go back down there. Well, I do not know. Let's come. Tell you what, we'll have a look in my desktop. Oh, hello. Won't let me do that. Not found. Why won't it do that? Refresh. Okay. And now it's found it. Okay. I just refreshed it there. Right, I'm going to hit next and see what happens. So there we go. See, it's picked up the camera I was using, which is a Canon PowerShot G12. that's good. But I'm sort of don't know if it's picked up the right ones. Let me just see. I'm not sure if it's done it. Let me just go next. Oh, well. Anyway, okay. I don't know if this is right, but I'm going to carry on. When you get to this screen, I've just been hitting next, you can pick all sorts of things. Aerial view, close range, human body, urban. I'm just going to close range. And I'm going to, this is the various details, amount of pixels, if you like, you can use. I'm going to go for the default one. I'm going to go next. And it says is masked, so I think that's okay. I wonder if it'll let me just do something. No. All right, I'm just going to hit run. And now it's doing its thing. This is going to take some time. And what it's doing now, it's generating what it calls a low density point cloud, which is the first stage in making a 3D model in this photogrammetry way. So we'll let it do its thing and then see if it's worked. So see you in a bit. It's nearly time for Strictly. I'll see you after. Hello. Yep. Here we have the result. Doesn't look much like the Turk right now, but this is what you call. You can just about recognize him. You see all of these little dots around. If I can move around, see all those little dots, a circle of dots there and a few at the top there. They denote all the camera positions. So it's calculated where I've essentially taken the shot from, which is pretty good, I think. So with this I can zoom in and pull out, just about recognize him. But this is what we call a low density point cloud, or a sparse point cloud. But it's the first stage in creating. You see that we have got quite a lot of holes. So we may have to fill some of these, but we don't know yet. We don't know yet. So don't panic. We now need to go on to the next stage, which is to create from this sparse point cloud a dense point cloud. Now we can do that in several ways. There's got to try and remember. Where are we? That is. We can either click on that up here, a dense point cloud creation, or I think you can do it there as well. No, you can't. Okay, so we go to dense point cloud. That's the first one. That's the dense. So we click on that. And it's all sort of wizard based, really. So we're just going to click on next. And it's pretty much the same as the last process. So we're going to stay with close range, we're going to stay with default, same sort of quality, and we're going to hit on next. Of course, you could, you know, pick the highest quality, but it's going to take forever, depending on what sort of computer you've got. I'm just using a laptop. And also, because I'm going to be using other bits of software, there's no point in making a super duper detailed model, because the other pieces of software won't take you know, incredibly detailed models. So we're just going to do a default one. We're going to run that now, and this is going to start generating this dense point cloud. Again, this will take some time. The last process took about 10 minutes. So I will wait until this works. Right, cheerio. Okay, here we go. And after about 20 minutes, we can see that our dense point cloud has worked. Okay, now just have a look around this model. You can see it's a lot better than before. It's quite tricky to move around this guy. Let's see if I can move in a bit and then go. Oh, where are you? Where are you? Oh, there you are. Now there is, I think there's a hole there. Look, it's quite a big hole on the head. Yeah. So we're gonna have to fix that in another program. Look, that's the inside, but it's okay because we can fix that, I think, quite easily It'll be slightly low res, but it doesn't matter because the turbine's going to be on top of there, right? But look at the rest of it. It's not bad, is it? And we haven't finished yet. Now, if I zoom as right in, and let's see if I can move up a bit. Come on, and let's see if we get a little bit of detail. Now you might see, well, you can see here the remnants of the moustache and the eyebrows. These are the bits that I couldn't remove that were really stuck down. But I've done my best to remove it. Now, I'll try and maybe smooth these out, but it's not such a problem because they are relatively small, and we're going to be putting the real moustache back on it because I'm going to 3D print this head. That's the whole idea of me doing this. I've saved up all year for a 3D printer, so but it's not coming until February. Anyway, that's pretty good. The work we did on the contrasters made an improvement. It's a shame about the top. That's the only thing. We need to do more photos on the top, but we can salvage that. That's okay. Anyway, so there we are. We're on the way. We've made a dense point cloud, and the next thing to do, remember this is all lots of little points. We need now to turn it into a mesh. So it's like join the dots time to make this into a sort of solid object, or an object that has a surface, or many surfaces actually. So we're going to do that now. So the next thing is to find at the top here. Let's see, what's the next? Oh, there we are. A triangulated mesh from dense point cloud. So click on that. Again, this is another one. We've only got, you can use different point clouds. We've only got one. So I'm going to do that. That's fine. Yep. Yep. And I'm going to go next. And again, close range, default. Oh, sharp features, high details, default smooth surface. I'm going to go with sharp features because of the grooves that the head's got. So I'll click on next, and then we're going to run it. Off it goes. Now this may take, who knows, another half an hour, maybe more, I don't know. So I'll leave it there, and we'll see in a bit. In a bit. Okie dokie, picking a pokey. Here we are back in the 3DF Zephyr room, and you can see that the Turk has come on a little way, and we've generated a nice little mesh. Not without a few problems though, because after the last little segment, I tried to generate a mesh, which was a default quality one, and it just seemed to go round and round and round, you know, the processing indicator, and so I stopped it, and it recommended that I make a denser point cloud, so I did. And then I did it again on the default, the same thing happened again, so I tried it on a detailed one, and in the end this is what came up. So it's really processor hungry, so just hold your nerve if you're trying this yourself. But you can see how it's sort of works. It's got a hole in the top of the head, but we can fix that. But because I've done this in a more detailed manner, I'm going to have to what they call decimate it later in another program, because my final bit of software can't deal with all this detail. But it looks pretty good, no? So there you go. Remember, these bits of moustache areas that you can see, they will come out in 3D print a bit, but not as bad as, you know, when it was all really, really hairy, which would have caused a lot of printing issues, I imagine. But I'm pretty happy with that. So you can see where we are. The next thing to do is, or the last step in this process, is to create a textured mesh, which, where is it? It's somewhere up here. Where is it? Create a textured mesh. So we're going to do that. And it's the same sort of thing. What does it say? This is another wizard-based thing. This wizard will guide you through the process of creating a textured mesh. starting from a mesh. Mesh to use. There's only one, so it says mesh 1. Select cameras to use. All cameras selected. All cameras are selected. That's what I want. We go next, and it's asking the max texture size, the maximum number of vertices. The vertices being, I think, are the vertices of the lines. I think this is an issue that I need to look into. So I'm going to come out of this and check something. So I'll bring you back in a bit. Okay, back in the room again. Yeah, I've just done a little bit of research. I'm kind of reminding myself of things with this bit of software and some others as I go, because I haven't used this type of software for about 2 months, because I've been doing the TURK Kickstarter and other bits of admin. So things go out of your mind, especially when you're hopping across different types of stuff. You know, whether it's technical, whether it's artistic or admin, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I just reminded myself of a few things, and here we are back at the textured mesh generation wizard. It's asking maximum number of vertices, and there's about 301,188 there, it's saying. Now, I think I said some wrong things earlier, because a mesh, as it is, as we've already done, is not a solid body. I may have said that, I can't remember. A mesh is like a wireframe model, I guess. Vertices are the dots that make up that model. You start with dots, so we have our sparse point cloud, dense point cloud. They're all dots, points, you know. So they're vertices. Oh, sorry, they are. Yeah, they're vertices. They're dots. Okay. Then you have to connect the dots, join the dots. Do you remember those pictures you used to do as a kid? Join the dots. So you're adding lines between dots. So they're called edges when you join two dots together, or vertices together. And when you join up 3 of those vertices together to make a triangle, you then got a face, or a facet, if I'm right. And these wireframe models or meshes are made up of triangles. When we come to use another bit of software, the engineering software I'm using, which is Fusion 360, it only likes up to about 10,000 faces or facets. But for now, I think I'm going to accept what it's saying here, 301 vertices or dots. I may be wrong, but I can fix it at a later point. Anyway, a lot of data there, but anyway, I'm going to click on next and see what happens. And then it's asking me to run it. So it's computing. So this is probably going to take a while. Hang on, 16 seconds. Oh, let's just see. 18 seconds. It's telling me, I think, ETA here. Now it's going up. So I'll bring you back. Okay, see you in a bit. And here we are. This is the final item. The textured mesh has been done. It didn't take very long, actually. We've still got a hole in the head, but and there's probably lots of little holes everywhere, but we can fix them in the next stage. But that's pretty good, don't you think? And if I zoom in, let's see, how do I do that? Like that. Look at the detail. All that from 50 photos. And these things, I hope, will translate into the 3D model. But if not, I've decided, after experimenting with trying to virtually cut these holes deeper in other bits of software, it's so difficult. I'm just going to go old school, and after it's printed, if I need to, I will go over it with a Dremel. But anyway, that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. And these moustache areas, they're much better than they were. The other ones are all over the place, which would not have printed These ones, I mean, it will print a bit of crap there, but I can sand that off, you know. Of course, it would be possible to edit that somehow, but in virtual space, but in terms of time, it's better. But let's just see if I can turn that off for a minute, because you can turn these different things off. So I've turned it off, it disappears, but don't worry, it hasn't gone. Let's go back to the mesh, turn on my mesh again. Is it going to come on? So that's what it did look like, which looks pretty good in itself. There's our mesh that was generated. Now if I go to the textured mesh and turn that on, here it comes. Look at the difference. There you go. Look at that. I mean, that's pretty cool, isn't it? That's ace. I'm happy with that for now. What does it look like? See, it's hollow. And remember, it's not a solid thing. It's a mesh, like a wireframe. It just looks solid. So now we're going to export this to use in a different program. So I'm just going to go up here to export textured mesh. Now what does it say here? Yeah, I'm going to do that. Export format. I don't want to do that. I want to go and make it an object, OBJ file. Texture chart type, I'll leave that there. Don't know what that means, so I won't do anything. Rescale texture to nearest power of 2. Local rendering. Da, 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 da. Oh, actually, I'll just cancel that for a minute. What about scale? We haven't done about scale, have we? Let me look into that. I'll bring you back in a minute. I've forgotten that step. 1 second. Yeah, right. Okay. No, there is a scale function on this, but I'm not sure about the units. But I can scale this in another program, so I'm not going to do that. Right. Anyway, back to what I was doing. So I'm going to export to textured mesh. Yeah, it's saying da 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 da. I don't want to do that. Object is what I want. OBJ. That's just a file format that the other bits of software like. I'm not going to touch those. Don't know what that means. I'm just going to export. See what happens. Now, I'm going to put this in my desktop for the moment just to keep things there. So I'm going to put, what shall I call this? We'll call this shaved Turk head. Zephyr, shaved Turk head, Zephyr, textured mesh. Yeah, that'll do. Object and save. I'll just see if that'll do that. I think it will. Anyway, while that's doing that, let's talk. Yeah, so here we are. Why am I doing all this? I put a few photos up on Tinternet in other places, Facebook, Twitter. If you're not following me, please do. Showing you my Fusion 360 work, which is basically 3D modeling the Turk mech head or Hector that you've seen in real life. And I just started that. I put the base, the turntable, and the upper base into 360, and I put my previous Turk virtual model head with the turban in there as well, just to play around to see what's possible. So what I plan to do is edit this model a little bit more. We've got to cut the neck off, so we just really want a mask plus a bit of the back of the head to print. We need to cut it into 2 halves. We need to make a model that we can put into Fusion 360 to get the scale of the actual neck mechanism right. You'll see this will make more sense when I put it together. Anyway, so the next stage is to use another bit of program called Mesh Mixer to repair the hole in the top of the head, and to make those cuts, cut the neck off and shape the head a little bit more to prepare it for using in Fusion 360. So that's it. So I hope this has been useful so far. I'll sign off on this video now, otherwise it will turn into a massive one. So my next job on this side of the fence, this particular part of the work, for this week for me is to relearn how to use Mesh Mixer, because I've forgotten that as well, and also start on the artistic works as well, like the story and story structure and so forth. Anyway, so from now, this is Tron Sabbaton saying goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
Whoa! Sab Shed! Sab's Shed.